Hi guys, welcome to episode 4 of Q-Tips with Techie Cari. Today we're going to talk about changing the layout of Google Slides to use them for alternative purposes. So, stay tuned. Remember, we're going to cover students, staff members or teachers, and administrators. Okay, so we are going to start inside of a Google Slide, and typically your slide is laid out in this format. And a lot of the times we think that we cannot change this format, but we can. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to File, and then we're going to scroll down to Page Setup. And then you're going to click this arrow and you're going to go to Custom. Now, what is a normal piece of paper? 8.5 by 11. We're going to leave that on inches, and then we're going to hit Apply. So now we have completely changed the format of our Google slide. Now the reason that we're doing this is because we're going to turn this normal presentation into something interactive and something that we can do a little bit more with. Okay, let's start with student uses of this new format. So the first thing that I love for students to do is I love for them to make interactive presentations or interactive posters using Google Slides. When it's in this format, it kind of looks more like a piece of paper. It looks more like the normal presentation format. And once again, kiddos can go in, they can throw in shapes, they can color them, they can add all kinds of different interactive items here. Now when we talk about interactive, I mean hyperlinks or videos or pictures that they have taken of projects. So let's practice making a hyperlink to this shape. So you're going to put a shape in. And then you're going to go to this little chain, which is the link. And then you're going to type in an address, and we'll just type in Twitter. Whoops. And then hit Apply. So now, instead of this just being a slide that someone looks at, now they have places to click. They can go to different things. And like I said earlier, your students can make an interactive poster where they're clicking on a video that links to YouTube. Maybe they're clicking on a picture that they took of something. So now it's taking this slide and making it more interactive. Okay, let's talk about ways that teachers can use Google Slides in this new format. If you haven't heard about HyperDocs or HyperSlides, it's definitely something that you should Google. HyperSlides are a way for students to learn in a unique way because you give them this Google slide up front and then they take ownership of their learning. So once you have this format, you're going to go in, you can put in shapes like we did earlier. I'm going to put in an arrow here, and then I'm going to type inside of this, start here. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do, I might put a video in here from YouTube for my students to watch. And then the next thing I might have them do is click on a link to a different website to learn more information. Now the cool thing about this, you could throw in a text box and you could put questions in this text box. So for instance, after they watch the videos and view the website, they can type in questions here. So you can say type your response here. And then once you finish this hyper slide, you can share it with your students where they have editing rights. You can put it in an LMS like Google Classroom and give each student their own copy. Students enjoy this type of learning because it's self-paced. Sometimes you can have them click in a certain order. Sometimes you can just have it open where they can click whatever they want. But it's a really cool way for the students to take ownership of their learning. And at the bottom of your hyper slide, you could also put a link to a Google form where they could take a quick assessment. Now, one last tip for teachers. I've also seen teachers have one slide presentation, and maybe week 1 they have a hyper slide, and then they add an additional slide. And maybe that's week 2. So it's one ongoing slide presentation that the students always have access to. So instead of having to share something repeatedly, they just say, hey, open up the slide presentation. I've put in a new hyper slide for this week. Let's talk about administrators using this new format of Google Slides. Administrators are constantly having to share information with parents, and parents often ask, oh, where do I go to find this? What do I do? Well, why not make this slide interactive? So principals send home a weekly newsletter. They can have a text box that quickly takes the parents to the school website. So they would make a text box, they would go in, and then they would hyperlink it to the school website. Okay? The principal can put links to volunteer on this. They can put all the upcoming dates that are on here and so forth. And it's a one-stop shop for the parents. They need to go to the school website, they click here. They need to buy something, they click here. They need to sign up for Thanksgiving lunch, you can click here. So instead of sending an email with numerous different links inside of it, it's a pretty visual. The parents know exactly where to click, and it can be done from any device. Okay, one final tip when it goes to sharing these new slides. What I like to do whenever my students are sharing these slides with other students, or maybe the teacher is sharing it with parents, or the administrator is sharing with parents, is to go ahead and put it in a neutral format where anyone from any device or any email address can open them. So once you finish making your slide, you're going to go to File and Download as PDF. That way, anyone can open it on any device. If someone doesn't have Gmail, they still have access to all of the hyperlinks and all of the information.